Patriots, welcome to an exciting interview. I think it's very fitting that our first real interview in this kind of setting is with Jimmy Sorrells, because, Jimmy, I feel like I go back with you many years. In a short amount of time, we've seen a lot together between coffees, being at your meeting, Liberty Networking. We'll talk about that in a minute. And, just seeing this movement grow together, seeing people come together, but they're so different, do very different kinds of things. And it brings you and I joy because we're bringing people together that may have never met each other, like in quote unquote regular life. But we're not living in regular times, are we?
No, we're not. And I've met some great friends right here that live close to me that I would have never met if it wasn't for Businesses for Liberty.
Right. And in my opinion, all patriotism is local, not just all politics. I think all patriotism is local. And the more local we can get, I think the better off we are as a country. I think the better off we are as, whether it's education or church or business or whatever, you're going to find those people are the most authentic because you can actually really get to know them. We're in Washington, we're depending on things far away from us. No wonder we don't really have any control because it's far away. We have mayors and city council and all these people who live in our own neighborhoods and businesses that need our help that are local. But Jimmy, one of the things that stood out to me immediately about you is your unapologetic stand for life and what over the years to advocate for the lives of the unborn. I want people to hear that about you first before we go into anything else. Would you share a little bit about why are you so pro-life and what have you done to show other people how important it is?
Absolutely. I mean, I still love what I heard you say. If you're not right on pro-life, I don't care about what else you got to say. I got involved with the pro-life movement, as it's called, back in high school, actually. And we had two local killing clinics here in the upstate. And I was going to them and doing sidewalk counseling and prayer. If any of you want to know the story, I did get a trespassing notice one time. And yeah, so I mean, I was doing that. I did a tour around South Carolina with educating people and things like that, hit different cities. But the main thing I did was I got involved with this organization at the time was called Rock for Life. And it's a music-based pro-life education organization. And so I ran the South Carolina chapter. I did that for a couple of years. And then the guy who started that, someone else took it over and he started another ministry called Stand True Ministries. And I ran the South Carolina chapter of that for a while. But it's basically I would book, for the most part, Christian bands and concerts and put them on in different areas. But I would have a speaker or I might speak and give out literature and educate people on what an abortion really is. You'd be surprised how many people, they just hear it. They don't ever do any research.
It's amazing. But first of all, the fact that you also were able to bring music into it. I mean, music brings everybody together. Who doesn't want to go to a great, want to be, in a fun environment, and especially after all we've been through with the restrictions. But let me ask you this, though. Why? Why do you care so much about the lives of the unborn?
I mean, first and foremost, the Bible, which I wholeheartedly follow and believe in, it says that, God created life and you have to respect that. And so you have to be a voice for those who can't speak. I don't care if it's an unborn child or an elderly person or someone who is disabled and they can't, if it's right and wrong. I'm a very black and white type of person. Either it's right or it's wrong. And to put anyone, no matter age, race, color, anything, religion, put anyone in harm and not do something about it. There's just something that don't sit well with me about that.
I love how you put that, Jimmy, because some people have said to me, "Oh, Eric, you're just pro-birth." I'm like, no, I'm pro-life. I'm pro the infant, senior, I'm pro the teenager. That's why I care about human trafficking, because that is the great evil trait of our time. And when people go, "Oh, they're consensual," nobody goes to school thinking, "I want to be a worker." That's not even a thing. these girls have been lured in from 9 years old to 17. And they might be overage now, but that's because they've been coerced. They try to leave, their lives are threatened, and then they've had all these kids out of wedlock. They had drugs.
100%, and drugged too as well. I mean, there's just, and my church partners with some organizations that help fight that as well. And that's very important. Yeah, it's pro-life. Pro-life is not just babies; it's life. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, or what you look like, or what you can and can't do. It's either right or wrong.
Absolutely. Well, Jimmy, I've asked you this question before in person, but I love to ask it. I don't think we can ask it enough. I don't think we can hear in the times, especially that we're living in 2021 of July 9th, 2021. What does liberty mean to you now?
And it's the state of being free. It's freedom. We, despite what you may hear in the media or in the news, if you choose to watch that, freedom with this is America is the greatest nation. I mean, it was created in a way that you can, if you know true history, you understand it was created by the hand of God, I believe. And freedom is less government. Yes, the government, there are some things that they do, but don't tell me, you give me the choice to lead my family the way I want in my life. Don't tell me I can't homeschool, or I have to get a vaccination, or I have to wear a mask. That's not freedom, and that's not liberty. Liberty is giving me the choice to choose my religion and choose my politics.
Absolutely. Well, we totally agree on that, because I tell people I'm not anti-mask. I'm anti-forcing someone to wear a mask. I'm not necessarily anti-vaccine. I wouldn't do it, but I'm not anti-vaccine forcing someone. And I think the problem, people don't realize this, or I think they're waking up to it more and more. But when you lose the right to disagree, you lose your country, because that's what makes. I tell people, what makes America great? America is great because Americans are different.
Sure.
And that's what I love about this country, is that you can disagree. You have the freedom to disagree. Our men and women in uniform sacrificed everything so we could have liberty.
Yes.
Liberty. This flag, Betsy Ross, who is everywhere with me, she represents the original 13 colonies who didn't stand against King George just simply because of even just taxation without representation, or because some kind of humanitarianism, because they wanted liberty, religious liberty. They didn't have that in England, didn't have that. But in the colonies, it was a great experiment. So that's why I say this flag, we didn't have this flag, we wouldn't have the modern day flag.
That's right. I mean, how many times have you heard a veteran say, someone's out protesting or whatever, and they said, I fought for the right for you to be able to do that. I don't agree with you, but I fought for them.
I love when they say that, because that is so true. Even when people, they mock the military, they spit at the military, and I just think, wow, these people are defending even those people, even
Sure.
their, to live the way that they decide to live. So let me ask you this, Jimmy. You are a business owner. We are proud Business for Liberty client, but you also have an amazing networking group. We're going to kind of work through these. So
Sure.
Upstate Merchant Advocates is the name of your business. I think it's actually really neat. I didn't really fully understand it till probably this morning. I hate to say that to you, but I really get it now. So,
well, you're not the only one.
but tell everyone about what is Upstate Merchant Advocates.
Yeah, so merchant services basically is anything to do with credit card processing for business owners. So I'm a broker, so I am contracted with different companies. So whenever someone comes to me and they say, I need this or whatever they're looking for, I have various options to find what is best going to fit my customer and help them. So I can do anything from POS systems for retail and restaurants, online ordering, online delivery for restaurants. I can help with mobile swipers. So there's handheld POS. There's different options with that too. Online transactions, we can integrate with QuickBooks. So anything that you need for that type of processing, I probably have a solution with it. I can even help with high risk, which it can be anything from plumbers to ammo dealers, CBD oil, different things like that. There's a lot of companies out there that won't touch that, but I do have some resources to help with that. And something I haven't really gotten into yet, but I have access to is putting in ATM machines. So I kind of got a wide variety of things that I can do. Although, I have primarily kind of focused on restaurants in the past. There's other avenues that I would like to get into.
That's fantastic, Jimmy. I mean, that sounds like you're covering a lot of different kinds of businesses. So what
Sure.
right, may change, but what are the main kind of businesses that you've dealt with so far?
Yeah, so restaurants would be my number one. Primarily online ordering, but I have some where they have the full POS and everything. And I have mobile therapists. I've actually got two mobile therapists that I work with. Um, I have two business to business, which is a whole different level of processing. So I have a tech company that I'm working with in North Carolina and a monitoring systems company in California. So they may not have as many transactions, but they're very large transactions. So I do have kind of a diverse portfolio now, and hopefully it will be more diverse.
That's so great. Well, I'll tell you, I think a lot of businesses not only need the processing, but they need secure processing. I mean, how much
Absolutely.
fraud is going on? My mother was duped years ago out of all, like, I think it was like $3,000 because of someone who manipulated and got into some system. What would you say to people about fears of security of the processing?
Yeah. So there's two things when I'm working with a company that are really important to me. One is security, and one is customer service. So I offer great customer service myself, and so whenever I partner with a company, that's something that's important to me too. So everything has to be coded. You can't really store a whole credit card. That's not something that you want to do. So I also educate my customers on things like that as well.
That's great. That's fantastic. Well, let me ask you this in conclusion, just talking about Upstate Merchant Services. What makes it rewarding for you, and what's the best way for people to find out what you're doing?
Great question. So rewarding, yeah, I like working with entrepreneurs, first of all. I like working with high level people who started their own business, and that I don't know, I really like being around those people. Number one. Number two, I know if I'm coming in and I am helping them to keep more profit, that's going to help them to stay in business, and it's also going to help their family. There's stories where we've saved companies so much money, like they went out and bought a new vehicle or something crazy like that, or whatever, taking their family on vacation. So I know I'm making a difference in the long run, but up front it's about just keeping those profits and helping them to stay in business. And you can find out about me, just look at Jimmy Sorrells on Facebook or LinkedIn. I'm fairly active on both of those, and you can always reach out to me. My phone number is 864-906-2386.
Fantastic. Now, moving on to another thing you're doing, which I think is very exciting, and it's clearly working. It's clearly making an impact. It's growing. If you want to, either you're growing or you're dying. I believe that in every aspect of life. I want to read a description for those who've not seen this, and you can find Liberty. You have a great logo, by the way. Liberty Networking, where patriot entrepreneurs connect. And this is what it says on your Facebook About section. Liberty, the quality or state of being free. This is a networking group for like-minded business owners and salespeople, those who are pro-liberty and do business with integrity. Boy, I love that. And then there's a lot of rules on here that's just so important. You got to have that, the policies, the meeting. This is a free-flowing meeting. I like that, but please be respectful, mindful of speaking time, because everyone wants to say a lot. But I will tell you, I have been to a Liberty networking meeting. I have been there, and I got to sit beside Jimmy. And what got me about the meeting was I've been to many kinds of, networking meetings, and very stuffy feeling or very awkward, or none of that here. It was free flowing. It was fun. They had a fun question they went around with. Nobody wanted to leave. Everybody was just pouring their hearts out. People were like, if it wasn't for this person, I probably wouldn't be. I mean, it was just like amazing testimonials, Jimmy. And I just thought something special is happening here. And I remember when I left that meeting, I said, there's no way this is going to grow. There's no way that people aren't going to take this and want to do it in other parts of the state. So before we go into the growth of it, which is exciting, why did you decide to start Liberty Networking, and tell us about what it means to you? What is it?
Yeah, so I know this is gonna be hard to believe, but I got the idea because I was a part of Businesses for Liberty. I just you know, when I joined Business for Liberty, and I really was I was impressed with their, you know, the idea behind it and everything, and I love what you had going on here. And so I thought, well, these are the people I want to do business with. So I started Liberty Networking. As you know, Rick Burse has been a good friend and a lot of help in getting this started from the beginning. And he just kind of helped coach me along. And anyway, so we started it with 6 people at our first meeting, and this was back in February. And then we grew to over 20 people, and now we have 2 chapters. So I currently have some interest. I've talked to a few people in Columbia and Williamston and Charleston, and maybe starting other chapters. So right now I formed an LLC. I'm talking. I've had an attorney help me with the basically the rules and everything to get all that worded correctly, basically. And so now I'm working on a manual for anyone who is interested in starting a chapter in their area. So I'm still working on the structure and all that. So that's where the idea come from. And I want to going to read you. This is our basically our mission statement. So Liberty Networking grows businesses by connecting entrepreneurs that promote liberty and operate with integrity.
That's so great. I mean, I think the second part is also incredibly important, because you could say, I'm a patriot all day long. I'm a patriot. I'm a patriot. But if you don't do your business with integrity, you're not a man of your word. If you don't have your honor, if you don't have your word, you don't have anything.
Right.
The fact that you're stressing that is very appealing, and I think it's very. I mean, being a millennial, you know, I think a lot of younger people, they're tired of the squeaky clean. They're tired of what looks perfect. Are you real?
Sure.
Are you authentically real, or are you a show? You know, I think a lot of people, they're tired of the other thing. They're tired of the people who look perfect, but they're actually not. They're not doing things with integrity. You know, this is completely unrelated, but I know of pastors who, you know, they'd be known as the great pastor, the great, you know, theologian, but their kids never saw them.
Right. Yep.
There was no relationship at the family level. And I'll tell you, it's that's not integrity. You know, you're not taking care of your family. And when you're talking about being a patriot business owner, every transaction, you know, everything you do with people should be above board, should be beyond the call of duty and doing things the right way. So I think that's fantastic. So let me ask you this. You know, Natalia Williams is in Liberty Networking. We got quite a few people in Liberty Networking in Businesses for Liberty. What have you seen from them? How has Liberty Networking helped them, in your opinion?
Oh man. You know, the one thing I love about doing Liberty Networking is hearing the members supporting and helping each other. That's huge to me. So I know, so there's another guy, Hector, and he has a cleaning business, and he was just telling me, we went to lunch the other day, and he said, you know, Natalia just got me my second referral and all this. I'm like, man, that's awesome. That's what I love to hear. So, you know, and I know there's been a lot of people have been a part of many different networking groups, and you know, I tried to make this structure and the meaning behind it to stand out and be different than other network groups. And so it's really about relationships. That's really what I focus on. Yeah, referrals are great and helping each other, obviously, but building relationships. We just had a Liberty Networking cookout last weekend on Saturday, and it was awesome. And Hector, actually, it was a Latin cookout, so he cooked all the food. He's from Colombia, South America, and and it was great. So I want to do more events like that and things like that. We actually had a women's networking night, and someone from Lexington came down and was a part of that. The one that owns the cafe, what's her name? It's slipping my mind.
In Batesburg, Leesville, Tammy Spencer.
No,
Nope.
the bakery.
Oh, Blended Bakery.
Yes.
Stone.
Yes, that's right,
Teresa.
Teresa. Yep. She came down with my wife and some other Liberty Networking, and they met at one of my customers' restaurants. So it was awesome, and we're going to be planning more stuff like that. Yep.
Oh, that's great. Well, and I'm very proud to say that we are definitely in a partnership. Not like a legal partnership, but we're proud to. Jimmy is doing something with Liberty Networking. I wish we had the time at Businesses for Liberty to be able to have those kinds of meetings, but thank God you're doing it, Jimmy, because that's a huge need. Business owners need to be coming together, loving on each other, like you said, referrals for each other, and I think that's so crucial. But we all have a part to play in this. Consumers for Liberty, Businesses for Liberty. I mean, I joke everything. Kickboxers, everybody has a part to play. So what is the easiest way? What is the easiest way for someone who's like, wow, I love what Jimmy's doing. I want to be involved. Let's just start with, I live in the upstate. Okay. And I've never now, but now I'm like, I want to be part of this. How can they become part of it?
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't, the easiest way right now is just the Liberty Networking on Facebook. You just request to join, and I'll make sure you're a legit person. We got some mutual friends and stuff. And requesting that all the events will be on there. Currently we have 2 chapters that meet on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in Taylor, South Carolina. So there will be more to come, but currently that's what we're got. And so we meet every other week. So one chapter, that meets this week, they'll meet 2 weeks from now, and the same for the next chapter. But it's at all the addresses, the details, the times, everything's there on that. All the rules, whatever. You can also reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn or my cell phone and ask any specific questions you got about it. I will be at Liberty is Rising coming up on the 17th of this month. So I will have a booth there for Liberty Networking and upstate merchant advocates as well. So you can come and meet me and ask any questions you have at that time as well.
Fantastic. Now, we were talking about this earlier. Growth is a great word. I love the word growth because it means there's new life coming in. So you're growing. So tell us a little bit about the expansion of Liberty Networking.
Yeah. So this specific networking group, it is seat specific, meaning one industry per seat. So, you'll have one real estate, one plumber, that type of thing. So we had like 3 financial advisors visiting and then 2 that stuck around, and they both were like, hey, I want to join. And at that time we'd outgrown the room we were in. So it just made sense to start a second chapter at that time. So I did. So we have a financial advisor in each one. And the second chapter started, we had 6 people there. And I think we had 8 last week. And of course it's summertime. And so, people are on vacation, July 4th and all, but it's growing. I mean, this is you're not going to see this promoted all over social media. Now I will promote it in Businesses for Liberty, but this is a word of mouth invitation. We want the people who come to be like-minded. So it's somebody and trust, you've done business with, that type of thing, that is pro-liberty and operate with integrity. So it's all been personal invites, and it's growing. And like I said, most likely the next chapter could be in Williamston. I might start one in Travelers Rest. I have a location there now, access to a location. So there's a lot of options.
That's so great. So let's just say I'm living in Charleston.
Yeah.
And what would happen? I would contact you and then you would an interview about it.
Yeah, absolutely. You would have to, lead a chapter. I'm still, honestly, I want to get everything correct with what I'm doing and solid.
Good.
But I do have plans to expand you know, Charleston or whatever, that's fine. Yeah. So I mean, you would have to sign an agreement that you're going to run the meeting the way, you know, that Liberty Networking is set up. You know, if possible, I'd like that person to attend a meeting here, and I will go down and help facilitate, you know, a couple times I can do that. But they ultimately, whoever takes on that responsibility, they'll have to find a place and set a time that works for their schedule, and then just follow the layout of how a meeting's run.
Fantastic. Well, we at Businesses for Liberty are rooting for you. We're so proud of just the expansion, the growth, but most importantly, the quality of, the community that's happening.
Yeah.
And I think more than even just the political fight that we're fighting, we need to fight for each other. We need to fight for our right to be together. I mean, my gosh, did we ever think that would be a thing? The fight to be together. But that's what we've at these, there's a new strand and all the rest. But anyway, there's all this stuff that they're going to keep trying to keep us apart. So I have to ask you this, Jimmy. You joined Businesses for Liberty. You're part of SCW, the people before that. What made you come on board Businesses for Liberty from the first place?
I believe in liberty. I mean, for me, it's an answer to the cancel culture, which, I mean, the things that we stand for as individuals and that we each support that we've been talking about here are the things that the cancel culture don't like. So it just made sense for me. I mean, it's like, yeah, I would rather do business with someone who is upfront saying I am pro-life and I take care of my customers. And whereas and again, something else that you said that stuck with me too was, Starbucks is an example. Why are you supporting tyranny and you're talking about Business for Liberty? So I mean, I can't remember how long it's been since I've been to a Starbucks, or I stopped supporting Amazon. I don't buy from Amazon anymore. So I buy from Business for Liberty as much as I can, or local, things like that. So sometimes it may be challenging, but I think it's worth it.
Well, we've got 109 businesses now. We're in 11 states. That's why I say growth is so important. What do you want to see happen in Businesses for Liberty?
All 50 states for Liberty. Yeah. I mean, listen, I started this with zero budget in February, and the idea, one, that we're meeting in person, and two, it's like-minded individuals, and it's doing well. And so I'm excited. And I've talked with again Rick Burris about this. It just like, he's like, how big do you want this to go? What do you see? And I'm like, I said, I'm starting to see this can really grow. And so I mean, every state, why not? There's patriots even in California, I heard. So bring it on, California.
Amen. Well, hey, Donald Trump said, if you're going to dream, you might as well dream big. And or why would we settle for media? I think mediocrity is what's killed this country. I think a lot of people who, someone else will figure it out, someone else will stand up. They won't. It's incumbent upon us to take that stand. Well, in conclusion, Jimmy, because we're going to have many of these interviews, but what do you want people to take away from State Merchant Advocates, Liberty Networking, and most importantly, Jimmy Sorrells, the person?
Well, so for Upstate Merchant Advocates, if you need processing, I would love to look at your business and understand what you need and see how I could help you. If you already have processing, I offer a free analysis to see. And if I say, hey, you keep what you got, I will let you know that up front. For Liberty Networking, if you're a business owner, entrepreneur, and you're interested in it, join Liberty Networking on Facebook or contact me and ask some questions. You're welcome to visit at any time. And if you're open to starting a chapter, we can have that conversation. And for me, I am a pro-life, pro-America, pro-liberty Christian conservative, and I take care of my customers and my friends the best I can. And I've been married for 18 years for my wife Danielle, and we have 4 kids, 2 boys and then 2 girls. So the girls are 3 and 4, and the boys are 5 and 7. So yeah, so we got full time right there. So she stays home. We homeschool. She homeschools. I'm the principal, so I don't really have to do much. But no, my
Yo,
wife homeschools. Yep, she teaches holy yoga, which is a faith-based yoga, in some different areas around here in the upstate. And yeah, that's what we do.
that's so great. Well, Jimmy, I'm proud to tell everyone once again that I endorse what you're doing with Liberty Networking, with Upstate Merchant Advocates, and you as a person. If I didn't believe that Jimmy, was a man of integrity, was a man that was pro-life, is again, what are our 3 things? Pro-life, pro-liberty, America first. If I didn't believe that about him, I definitely wouldn't have him as part of BFL, and I certainly wouldn't be pushing Liberty Networking. But because I know it truly is liberty networking, it's not woke networking, thank God, we can be proud of it. And I want every business owner who doesn't know about it to look up Liberty Networking on Facebook, where Patriot Entrepreneurs connect, find out what he's doing, see if you can be involved, and pray for him. But thank you all for joining us for this interview today. And remember, when ordinary people come together, we can do extraordinary things. God bless you all.